Today I am working on my, I think it's about a 22-foot Nomad trailer. Got some issues with the heater, so we need to pull it, I'm pretty sure. So let's go inside and take a look. Alright, this is the heater here. I'm just going to show you what the problem is here. I'm going to fire it up. So you can hear the motor. It's high, and then it'll kick down a little bit. But don't make a liar out of me. Okay, you can hear it went up and then down, so the motor is starting to tighten up a little bit. And every time it, it hits a dead spot or whatever, it's all it's doing is drawing more power. And the last thing you need in an RV is something that's drawing power. Well, I'm hoping this isn't going to be too bad of a job. So first thing I did was I burned off, I just lit my stove, shut my propane off, and burned off any residual propane, because we've got to unhook the propane here. There's 2 screws here. Apparently that's all we're going to need to take off. We got to take off, of course, all the wiring. Yeah. Okay. Well, first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to unhook this propane line here. Let's see if we can get in there. Woo. So this is a wow, it's really on there. I need a pair of pliers here. There we go. A little tight getting in there. Yeah, I smell a little bit of propane, but not too bad. Now the exhaust going outside basically just pushes into the plate that's at the back of your, on the side of your trailer. So I'm hoping that it pops out and I don't have to take that plate off the back of the trailer. Alright, we've got, let's see if they're labeled here or anything like that. This one's got a little piece of white on it. Make sure we get this right. A yellow. I don't think there's any other way around this. If I pull this out a little bit, it might make it easier to get the wires out. Oh, they're already coming out here. Let's give that a try. Maybe I will have to pull that outside piece off. There we go. Alrighty. We can expose this wiring a little bit better. So just so I don't mess something up, I'm going to label these. I got these little tiny wires right here, and they both have a blue wire. Put a piece of tape on. That one goes to red. Keep it simple so that you only have to fire like 4 brain cells. Last thing you need to do is have to think. That probably goes to the thermostat. Size of the wires, I'm assuming. That's the yellow one. The yellow one goes to the whites. I can figure that out. Nice thing about YouTubing is I can always go back on my film. Yellow to the whites, remember that. And red to the blacks. Alright, should slip right out. Make sure everything's out of the way here. Looks pretty good in there, nice and clean. We'll vacuum it out. Get some of the dust out, but it looks really good. Now we have an open hole out, so we're going to have to plug that off, or we're going to have insects. Okay, I'm just going to put this up on the table. So this is the motor here. And you know, it's pretty tight for a motor which should just sit there and just spin. So we're going to have to pull this motor out of here and either lube it up or buy a new one. Don't really want to do that, but I'm going to use this. I think it's a little smarter than a screwdriver, so I'm going to make it a little easier on us. Don't know how much we're actually going to have to take off here, but we'll just keep on doing things until it works. That should spin fairly freely, and it doesn't. So we're going to have to pop that off. Just like that. She's a little grungy, but not too bad. You can see where the motor comes off here, so we're going to have to pull this plate off completely. Now the simple thing would be to just try and lube it up, but I know that if I do that, it's just going to get, just going to go back to the same way it was. Let's see what happens when I try that. She's pretty tight. I know if a guy lubed it up, it might work for a while. I think a guy would have to take it apart. Well, let's take her out. So what is that? 3/8. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to clean this up. It's pretty rusty, and make it easier to slide on when we go and reinstall this. Okay, so we're going to have to follow some wires back. This will be a safety switch here for just to make sure that the fan is working. There's a little flap in there. I see the motor's hitting up here. So we'll have to just remove this. Hope you're getting all this. This may seem like a lot of work, but when you're camping in the fall and you need the heater, it's good to have it working. Well, the camera quit on me just as I pulled this thing off. Just when we're just going to hit a highlight in the movie. Anyway, the motor's out. You can see that it's fairly snug. And if there is some sort of a seal in here, it's gone because you can see all the grease, everything is coming out. So I think it is time to replace this little motor. Unfortunately, but that's just the way it works. Okay, I'm going to follow these wires back and we'll unhook the wires, go and buy a new motor. Okay, red goes to there. Black goes to ground. Pretty sure. Yep, got the right wires. Okay, good to go. Gonna head down to the motor shop and see if I can pick up a motor. You know, I really was kind of hoping that this YouTube video would just go nice and smooth, but when I investigated buying a new motor, no way. You know, there's not another one left. They've been discontinued for years, so that means I'm gonna have to pull it apart and see if I can lube it up and get it spinning a little bit better. And change my, if you're having issues like I did with my camera, it would come up and it'd say automatically stop, so I changed my SD card. And apparently you gotta have some really, really good ones for some of these better videos. But every day, you know, you're learning and there's so much to do. So anyway, I had to use a snap-on socket to get this thing to come apart here. I don't got this one yet. There we go. All my other ones wouldn't fit. Well, she looks really, really good inside. It's a matter of just getting in there and oiling it all up and putting her back together. Brushes look good. I think we could probably get this thing working again. Okay, I'll oil her up, slam it back together, we'll see if it works. Spins a little bit better, a little smoother. Of course, there's going to be some resistance there. So what I did was I just basically just took it apart, cleaned it up a little bit. It was not dirty at all, and lubed it. And it's a lot better now, quite a bit better. And I also put a little bit of silicone lubricant on, and that even helped even a little bit more. And then if we try it, she's pretty consistent. Now, one of the things I wanted to do is I want to find out what the draw is on this motor. So I've hooked it up to my amp gauge here. Got about 2.5 amps. And you can see that from sideways it stays a little bit straighter, or a little bit more even. Zoom in. Make sure you're holding on to this. If you let go of it and break that fan, I think you're pretty hooped. So we're holding just a little bit under 2.5 amps, which is a pretty good draw yet. But you can see that it's staying fairly consistent. It's not dropping in RPM or anything like that. It seems to be pretty darn good. We'll hold it straight up and put a little bit of pressure on that downward pressure and see what happens here. No, that motor's running pretty good. Down to 3.5 or 2.35. Well, I am so glad that I was able to just take the motor out, take it apart, lube it up, and I've got it working again. If I have to take this thing out every year or every second year, I would do it. It's not that tough of a job to do. Because when you're in a situation where you can't buy a new motor, I don't know what I'd have to do to replace this. That's a lot. So just doing a little bit of maintenance on this motor. I think we bought ourselves another couple years. Alright, I'm going to just keep on going here. Do everything in reverse. And we're good to go. Thinking I may have put that motor on the wrong way. Yep. Start over. Alright, we got her done. Time to install it. Now I said I wanted to clean this up first so it goes in a little easier. Just going to hook my vacuum up and use a little sandpaper, I think. Clean that up. Time to stick it in reverse and throw her back together. Now this hasn't been that bad of a job. I think the toughest part about this is just, you know, getting past the unknown, because I've never done this before. You know, take one of these out of here or anything like that. And I think once you get past that, you know, pulling a couple screws and lubing up a motor is a pretty easy thing to do. Alright, we'll put all the wires on first. Well, hopefully it's going to go in easy. Now it's a matter of just trying to line this thing up and get her into the exhaust. I'll go outside and see where we're at. What I did was I took a rod and I went through the exhaust port on the outside and just kind of lined it up. This is actually just a chunk for carpet transition. Use whatever you got. Well, let's see if we can wiggle this in now. Oh yeah! Where do we have to go? Try and line up the holes here. see where they're at. Okay, I think that's about as far as it goes. Wasn't too bad. Now if you really having trouble, then you'll have to take off kind of the chrome little piece where the exhaust goes. I'm just going to put that propane line on. I can move it just a little bit to give me just a little bit more room to get in with a wrench. Yeah, giving yourself a little bit of room to put this, put the propane back on is a good thing, because it's your wrench, you haven't got much room. I think we're ready for a test run. Alright, make sure everything's all hooked up. Let's give it a try. I'm gonna make sure that that's on. Yeah, she's working. You can look inside too and see the flame. Flame looks good. Alright, she's really hot in here. We don't need a heater on. Well, I could not be happier. The fan is running at a lot smoother rate now. You know, it wasn't that bad of a job. I think the biggest thing with this is just the unknown. You're going into this, you've never pulled one of these out, and I have never done it before. Wasn't that bad at all. So anyway, don't be afraid. You know, if you got a couple little glitches or this and that and you have to replace something, don't be afraid to do it yourself. If you're one of those, you do need to have some tools. You know, I got lots of tools, so you know, you can't go into it with a pair of pliers and a screwdriver. But you can do it. So until next time.